Welcome to Two Guys.
Hey, Gil.
and an MBA. You sent me the whole deal about the agreement in the Middle East. Now, obviously, I'm not a deep political guy. I'm just like 10,000 feet up. But it was interesting that I've heard this a few times. Someone mentioned, was Biden the worst president? And is Trump the best president since Abraham Lincoln? It's starting to get buzzword. I'm like, really? I'm
I
not
can,
sure.
I can, I might agree with the first one. The second one, no, TBD. Like his first term, no, definitely not the best. Okay, but
Yep.
Biden, I mean, look, Biden has showed extraordinary weakness. You know, the Qatari prime minister came out and personally said that the envoy, the he named the envoy that Trump sent to Qatar as the
Yep.
reason the deal got done. And
Yes.
I just got done arguing through this with my family. They don't like that I supported Trump. I shouldn't even say that. I'm not a Trump supporter. They don't like that I'm supporting Trump on this issue, but I have to give him credit where credit is due. Whatever stops the killing. And they're saying, well, he had it set up, and him and Netanyahu are like this, and Netanyahu was never going to bend for Biden. I don't care. I don't care. And neither do the millions of voters in Michigan, the Arab that's a predominantly Arab American
Yep. Yep.
state in America. They don't care either. They voted specifically or chose not to vote on this issue just to get their families from being genocided away, you know.
Yep.
So the death toll is 46,000. Um, Biden has been saying for months, we're trying to get this done and just not turning. You see, he cannot speak a sentence barely. How can you expect him to apply political pressure? You
Yeah.
know,
So it's interesting you say that because everybody has this polarity. You either love Trump, hate Trump, right? And no one ever, and because they can't get past that, they can't unpack the issues. The issues versus the man. And if you can get over your distaste for whatever person, Biden or Trump, look at the issues, look at the data. You know, we talk a lot about data in our class, right? If you can't measure it, it doesn't exist, right? You know, data is king, right? And then everybody gets hooked by the persona of the person, not the issue. So based on the issues, issue to issue, he's already got one big check. Like he's ended a war, however he did it, right? And forget about being a Trumper or non-Trumper or Trump derangement, issue by issue. What's the data point to? Um, Huge thing. I mean, we talked last week about common sense. People dying makes no common sense.
doesn't make
Children,
it doesn't make business sense either.
absolutely not. Absolutely not. And it's funny you named the envoy. I didn't know who this guy was. So Trump has made it a point to put in people from alternative backgrounds, not deep swamp people, people who are, been on the Hill a long time, or people who are part of lobbying. This guy was his ex-lawyer, probably still is, when he was doing real estate deals. He's an entrepreneur. He has no political, I don't think he has any political background, and he walks in, he cut the deal. I mean, that's
Steve,
amazing.
yeah, Steve Witkoff, that's the name, Steve Witkoff.
Yeah.
Um, there was an interesting quote. This is from Al Jazeera. So I guess during the Biden administration, there was a highly publicized resignation kind of sweep of resignations through the State Department of people basically protesting Biden's mishandling of the incident. And these kind of people that are like lifetime, apolitical, like, right or left, they're in office. They kind of, a lot of them started resigning out of protest. And here is one of them, Hela Rarit, a former U.S. diplomat who resigned last year over the Biden administration's handling of the war, said the deal announced is the same proposal that had been on the table since May. So Hamas had agreed to this deal in May, and Biden had not persuaded Netanyahu. He
Yes.
told Al Jazeera that Biden's months long failure to finalize the agreement was a quote, matter of political will. Quote, if there was not a change in administration, I think we would have kept on hearing the exact same rhetoric of we're working tirelessly to secure a ceasefire. He added that there would have been no shift had Harris gotten elected, but that Trump's victory created the incentive. There's the key word from business school, the incentive to make the ceasefire deal happen. And
Yeah.
so, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, man, it's so fascinating how you can take the same elements to something and give it to a different person. Like I once, if you can have an A concept and a B team and you'll fail, but if you have an A team and a B concept, you're going to win. I'm gonna point to Facebook. Facebook is a C concept. It is not original. In fact, the code has been borrowed from Friendster, a guy in Toronto. It's not original. Arguably, Zuckerberg put together an A team, including advisors and finance, and he made it into, look what it is today. So, um, I think we're going to see more of this from Donald Trump. I think the Ukraine is next on his list. He's already signaled what he wants,
Oh,
ceding territory. So it'll be very interesting.
and we should mention today we're without Elena. She's on vacation in Paris, France. They're suggesting that the Trump administration might sanction Russia on oil, and they're talking all about oil prices and how can they put pressure on Russia but still maintain the supply and prices, stability of prices. I hope that he ends that conflict too. I mean, it's like say like I like what you said about judge them on the issues. Like, yeah, like as soon as I said something positive about Trump, I could just see everyone's eyes in the room just start. They just turned off. The
Yeah,
critical thinking turned off, and it's like,
yeah,
listen, I told them, listen, if next month or next week or tomorrow he deports 15 million Mexican American U.S. citizens that are legitimate citizens, which is something he said he would do, I will totally blast him and say that's BS. Those
yeah,
people are citizens. He should not be ejecting them. It's bad for the economy. It's not ethical, etc. This ending a genocide war, the day before he enters office. Yes, it's a PR stunt. Yes, he structured it that way. Yes. So what? So what?
right.
Like the killing stopping.
Yeah,
Business can get back to somewhat normal. That's good for the economy of the region. It's good for the people of the region. Let these people grieve their dead already. That we see the images every day on the TV, and it looks like freaking World War II. It's just like rubble everywhere.
yeah.
Little body bags that look like my kids. The people that are dying look like my neighbors here in Kuwait. I have Palestinian neighbors here.
Mhm.
It looks like this could happen to us. There, but for the grace of God, go I. It's like the way that you feel when you see these images living here, and it's like I don't care what he had to do. He got the result. And I'm
Yeah.
no pro-Palestinian. I'm highly critical of the many blunders that Arafat and Mahmoud Abbas, and we won't go too deep into politics, but I took a course at Hopkins. I'm
Oh,
highly
okay.
critical. A lot of the land
Yeah.
in Israel was legally purchased by Eastern European immigrants in the late 1800s, long before a lot of these conflicts happened. So, you know, there were many political mistakes that the Palestinian people made along the way, but they don't deserve this kind of like unjustified blanket carpet bombing killing that they're doing to them. So I'm glad that it's hopefully going to stop.
Yeah, it's funny. When she sent that thing, I got into, you've heard of the Abrahamic Accords, right? Trump's, and I was like, okay, I just wanted to find out about this a little more. And that's the agreement between the UAE and a bunch of other Arab states, Morocco, with peace with Israel, which Hamas and the Palestinians, the majority felt it was traitorous. They said that that is not a great agreement. So, you start diving into it, and you did a course at Hopkins. It's like, what's the root cause of this? Sometimes, like we always say, we treat the top of it, and we're not figuring out what's the root cause of this. How did this whole thing start? And then you start to unravel all the Palestinian Yasser Arafat. I mean, all that stuff just starts to pile in, and you're like, wow, if everybody just stopped for a second, it's like putting shingle on shingle and shingle and shingle on a roof to stop a leak. But meanwhile, you've got 8,000 shingles, and you just don't even know where the roof is anymore, right? Um, I
The
don't know why
root
people
cause,
don't think like that.
I love that. Yeah, no, the root cause of the Palestinian Israel conflict, you can trace it to the UK. There were the
Yes.
Balfour Declaration, and there was conflicting promises made during World War One. They promised the same land to different states basically, and so you can basically blame the British, but like it even goes
Yeah.
further back. The settler colonialism began in the 1800s, and it began legally and peacefully. And so this is a land there where for millennia people, Jews, Christians, Muslims, and others, lived in peace. This is the Holy Land. This is the place that you're supposed to live in peace. This is, so you're supposed to be the shining example for the world. And it's only in the last 130 or so years that you've seen crazy, crazy bloodshed. And now what you're seeing is, I mean, really, I'm just so glad that it's over. And, you know, if I have to, hold my nose and thank Trump for it, so be it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he didn't do it. They act like,
Right.
oh, well, he's just friends with Netanyahu, so that was easy for him. He got it done. I was like, well, Trump didn't start the freaking thing. You know what I mean?
No.
Like,
Yeah.
even if Netanyahu's his friend and Netanyahu was trying to do it to get at Biden, to get Trump into office, and even if that's true, I'm not saying that's true, even if that's true, so what? Trump he could have it going on. He didn't have to prioritize it as the first thing he did before day one. He could have kept it prolonged. He could have set sending weapons there, but I hope he doesn't do some of the crazier stuff he's talking about. Please consider subscribing below.
Thank you for being with us. Please leave your comments, feedback, what you think about us, and see you in the next podcast. Bye.